me to say you think I put women down? Is that what you're saying that I'm doing all the time?
Yes, I do. I don't think you give us credit for having any brain.
Well, I think back then it was a man's world, but I think that's changed a lot over the years. You know, women broke barriers over the past, 60, 70, 80 years, and now I think probably more women, I would think, are running companies than men.
Things evolve, and TV has mirrored society. And you're right, when TV first really came about in the late 40s, and actually was even before that in the 30s, women were very much the homemakers. In most cases, the man went out, he was the breadwinner, so to speak, brought home the money, and women took care of the children and worked in the home. I think at the time when you watch TV shows, and I'm certainly much older than you, but I remember watching the shows in the 50s and 60s. They were based. Women were mostly in the home. Leave It to Beaver. The women were the homemakers. The Donna Reed Show. Women were the homemakers. But that did evolve as society evolved, and as more and more women became independent. And for a lot of various reasons, back 50 years ago, divorce was not prominent. Now you have more women living alone, raising children. They have to work. They have to be in the workforce. So I think television has mirrored that growth of women. And I mean, certainly I'm in a different position than my mom was in, when she was raising children. I believe that television also mirrors life as it exists. There are still women who are wonderful homemakers in the home. There are women who are single moms. There are women who are happily married and raising children and, have two working members in one family. And I think TV kind of now mirrors all of that.
Where we were to where we are in terms of whether women are allowed near a microphone, much less on the sidelines of a football game, there have been huge changes. That they should even try to enter the field. That's changing, but it's changed, and women are no longer barred.
Oftentimes the assumption is women, once they have a baby, aren't going to be willing to put in that time, which is really unfair.
I can't speak for other businesses, but at News 12, Janine Rose is our news director, and she's a woman, and she's all about girl power. So all of us girls here who are managers and have been promoted, we deserve it. She recognizes that, and whether you're a man or a woman makes no difference. I would probably say, and I guess it's even the amount of men and women managers, but there's just as many women.
I've said this many times, and it's true. Women have always been treated very fairly, I believe, and equally, in the sense of we're given the opportunities. I can't speak for pay scales because I can only speak for myself. Cable affords opportunities that broadcast television did not. And I would say the same thing holds true for women working in the cable industry. There are a lot of female CEOs in the cable industry because they were able to break that glass ceiling. It doesn't really exist in broadcast yet, but it is turning around, absolutely. But I'm fortunate that I made my career in the cable industry, where women, I think, have been valued for their contributions.
That's a good question. I think if I had to really take a survey, I would say majority female. In most of my classes.
The media is probably more glamorized in college than it is when you're actually doing it. You think it's so fun when you're around TV and production and, cool people you want to meet, but then you forget you're going to start on a shift that you're not going to like. You might work in the middle of the night. You might have to work Easter. You might have to work Christmas. Put a face to your resume, I would say. If we just get a resume in the mail, you might go to the bottom of the pile. One, if you want to bring your resumes to where you want to work. Even if it says you can't, just drop off your resume, say hi, and bring it. Putting a face to the name is a good thing. Also, work your contacts and who you know. If you know someone at News 12, if you know someone at Channel 7, wherever, contact them. Have them push your resume through, because it really is all about who you know. And be aggressive.
Any young woman entering this field to really keep an open mind. You know, as I shared, I went in thinking this is what I had to do. There was this one role that was perfect for me, and that's what I wanted to do. And I kind of realized accidentally that there were other things that were interesting and that I would like to do. And then I was able to start pursuing those.
You have to follow your passion. And I say this to interns all the time when they come here. It's hard work. It's making sure you get the story right. I say this all the time. People think if you're on television or if you're involved in television, you have power. We don't have power, we have responsibility. Because every day you're holding people's lives basically in your hands, and you're telling stories that could seriously impact people, whether they're accused of a crime, whether it's a situation in a school. You're literally making decisions every day that can affect people. If it's truly your passion, then absolutely follow it, because I tell everyone that if you're going to work, if you're going to get up in the morning and get dressed and go to work every day, you want to be doing something you like. That's not to say that every day your job will be wonderful. That's not to say there aren't days that I'm pulling my hair out of my head, but I love what I do. I'm very proud to be a woman.
I'm proud to be a woman.
I am proud to be a woman.